That's right.
And then we're into June.
We're into June and we're into the Geminis. And by the way, happy birthday all the Geminis. Happy birthday, Karen, there in Switzerland. So it's Gemini season.
Gemini season. And what does that mean for us then, Roisin?
Oh dear. Well, you go to your birth chart where you have the wheel, the 12 doorways, and you see where you have Gemini placed, and that's where you will be doing a lot of your work this month. And, you know, it'll be a lot to do with your relationships and how you're relating to yourself and to people, and what relationships need to go, what relationships need to go deeper or need to go from your life in that way. But mostly I would tell everybody to make it more about the self, the relationship with the self. That's what Gemini, because Gemini is to think, how am I thinking about myself? Not so much how am I thinking about others and what they're doing. How am I thinking about myself and what I need to be doing for me? That's what Gemini. It's ruled by Mercury, which is the messenger, which means look at the messages that are coming for you. When you react to other people or other people bring up your stuff, what's it telling you about you? Are you still reacting? Are you at peace when something happens? You know, have you disidentified with the drama? Are you still reacting? So really see how you can change and heal your thinking process. That gives you the drama, gives you the problems, you know what I mean, Lynda?
Right. Okay.
You know, because everybody brings their stuff up. You know, a beautiful woman, a beautiful man can walk into the room, and automatically everybody may react and say, oh, look how thin they are, look how beautiful they are, look what they're wearing, look what they have. And we then, all the thinking is done out.
Yeah.
And, you know,
it's about them and it's not about how we're responding.
How we're responding
so
to it.
We need to change how we respond to that.
Exactly, because they're showing the beauty that you're not seeing in yourself, but you're seeing in them.
Right.
You know,
and that can cause many problems, I guess.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
I know. Since we last met, of course, you did a big retreat.
I did.
And lots of things happened. Do you want to kind of briefly talk us through that?
Well, the retreat is still ongoing, and anybody it was on it will know that, Lynda. Yeah. And it was connected to St. Bridget, St. Patrick. And when I talk about St. Bridget and St. Patrick, it's not that you have to know St. Bridget and Patrick. It's the vibration of the energy essence that they were, using in their life that you can use in your life. So Patrick was very powerful. Bridget was very powerful. They were determined, but they had powerful faith. So when you work with Bridget and Patrick, you really then start to build faith in your own belief about who you are.
Right.
So in the start of the journey, it was a very, very... You heard Charlie barking there. That's Charlie barking out there at the cats. See, it's all live. It's all live here.
Look, there he is.
He's out there barking. Crazy dog. So there was a lot of pain, Lynda. When I mean pain, it was tremendous physical pain where I was brought to my knees to do a lot of the retreat on my knees because I couldn't walk.
Now, why was that?
Well, the two main energies was fear and anger.
Okay.
And there were so many people on the retreat. So to bring it into like a biblical kind of sense to make people understand, where I got the deeper understanding, I knew we could all carry the cross. And when I done the Stations of the Cross, it was really, the pain was excruciating. I was really crying, it was really bad. But it wasn't stopping me. I knew what I had to do. I knew what I was carrying. And I knew what part I played in it, and I knew the part of everybody connected to it. And I knew if I broke through it, what a light would happen. So if we bring that back to Jesus's journey on the cross, he kissed the cross because the cross was salvation. It wasn't. The cross is not negative. It's a power. It's salvation. His biggest sorrow was the mourning for humanity, the pain of humanity not knowing who they were and how the fallen angel got them. So he was carrying the pain for the past, the present, and the future. I was only carrying the pain for 2 days. Do you know what I mean? So it really touched me and said, oh my God, we connect with a lot of the biblical stuff as it's past and it's a story, and not that it's present in the moment. It's very present in the moment if we wake up to it, and then we can really get amazing breakthroughs, amazing salvation, as Lord says it. I've never used the word salvation until I done the retreat at the weekend, when Spirit came through me and said, salvation, Roisin, bring everybody higher now.
Right.
I thought, oh, wow. So I had to put a video out straight after it, which I wasn't aware I was going to do. And Spirit said, I want to talk through you. So I done the video. It lasted for about 37 minutes. And I knew it wasn't, there was a message there, even for me as well. Like, the messages are also for me. It's not so much me giving them. I am a part of it as well. Receiving it for myself, if you know what I mean. I'm just a vessel.
But you know that the retreat, and obviously you brought us all with you there, and you were feeling that pain, but you know none of the rest of us would have been.
No, but some people would have been feeling it on an emotional level.
Okay.
And maybe on a mental level. A lot of the light workers that would be very awakened would have felt it in their feet, maybe not being able to walk. Spirit said you're going to feel it in your feet. Maybe their stomachs was very, very sick, so they would get, you know, a lighter vibration off it, and then they really realise what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But once that weekend's over, then you don't carry the pain anymore. You're fine again.
No, I still have the pain until it's completed, but I have it in a different way.
Right.
I have it in a different way where I can walk. I don't have to kneel down. Only kneel down maybe for 20 minutes a day now to let it pass through. But I have to kneel down to let it pass through. So if anybody was on the retreat and they're still feeling them symptoms, I would say kneel down and let it pass through. Okay. You know, we were in Medjugorje many times, and I remember the lovely priest when we walked in the mass one morning. He says the devil has no knees. And I love that, you know. So, you know, the ego doesn't want us to kneel down. It doesn't want us to surrender. But I tell you, it's our surrendering. Even that...
Humbling.
Just doing that, Linda, is enough. So on the retreat, Spirit was saying we'll defeat the fallen angel, because we had worked on the fallen angel a week beforehand. And the last day of the retreat, the dogs ran out the back door, and as they ran out the back door, Spirit said, go out quickly, well done. And when I went out, my wooden angel that had been on the door all these years had fallen on the ground on its face, and Spirit said, you've defeated the level of the fallen angel. So there's great things, you know, that happen, and the feedback has been amazing. Like some of the things that have happened in people's lives.
Yeah, I know. You told me about that, and you took great encouragement from it, you know, it was just quite, you know, that's a message if ever there was one. You know, this angel, the fallen angel, as you refer to him.
So you see, if we can allow ourselves to receive that, and when we work on ourselves, sometimes people think, you know, I don't think I'm getting it, or it's not happening. But there's many levels of our being that has to come into alignment. And some people can get into alignment in a moment. I don't know why that is. It must be their journey. Other people have to learn the alignment. But I will tell you, anything you're doing, it's not wasted. Yeah. It's not wasted.
Yeah, no, everything's a learning experience, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed.
You'll have to do it. Yeah. So just to remind you, we've got the chat box up here in front of us. And so we can see any comments or anything that you want to say to us, or any questions that you have for Roisin. But especially we have...
Linda.
Well, we have a guest today who is coming on at, what about midday or so?
Yes, midday.
Half an hour or so. Yeah. And his name is Jarlath Burke. Now, if you were on with us last month, you will remember we had a little glimpse of Jarlath, and Jarlath joins us for this every month, and in the meditations as well. He and his wife
but he's a part of the Rainbow Meditations as well.
Rainbow family, Karen. Rainbow Lighthouse family, yeah. So Jarlath's going to come on today, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the work that he does. A light worker, which is a lovely term. I love that. One of the many light workers. So we will, if you've got questions for him, just pop them in that chat box, and we'll introduce him later on, and he'll be telling us a bit about his work. In the meantime, Roisin, some of the questions that we had from last time, and we never get through them all, you know, but happiness is one of those things that, you know, a lot of people, and I think it did come up last time, I'm not sure if we dealt with it or not, but how do we achieve happiness? So we're all striving for a better, aren't we? Striving for a better life, and striving for, you know, some sort of oneness or just better selves. How do we get that happiness?
Well, yeah, happiness is really loving all the parts, not of anybody else, of ourselves. Realizing that we have many creative personalities that we must, how would I say, unify.
Okay, so explain that, Maya.
Well, constantly I work on myself all the time. I never stop. I really don't. And I learn through how I react to life and what it brings up in me. So if something or situation brings something negative up in me, I have to go into me and find where is the seed in me. Now, I may have an argument with someone over something, and I go into why am I reacting? Where did that seed start in me? Because it didn't start just with that person. You know what I mean? So I really go in and analyze my reactions, and that's not work no more. That's just what I do all the time. I say, right, I need to work deeper on that. I need to work on that part of my personality. Why am I reacting like that? This person isn't doing really anything. They're only in this. And I just keep going back to where I learned it, through my mother, through my father, through the religious belief, through the teaching. And that's what I do. I just keep going. I just keep analysing myself.
It's a bit like what you were talking about earlier, you know, if we were in a room and, you know, a person walks in and we instantly say, aren't they beautiful? Aren't their clothes lovely or whatever? And we don't kind of look at our own.
Exactly.
Why are we saying that?
Yeah, because we're too busy looking from this eye, which is really controlled by the ego. This is why in meditation I say, you know, close your eyes. And sometimes people will say to me, oh, you didn't have your eyes closed in meditation. I says, how did you know? Because I said, why are you not closing your eyes? And you see, the ego doesn't trust. And the ego wants to be in control. And the ego wants to see everything. Because when you close your eyes, the ego really can't work. It's a seeing thing, the ego, more than anything. And once you close your eyes, you are going in to open your third eye, which is your true eye. Then you see everybody as one. When we do the meditations together at Rainbow Lighthouse, it only takes a few minutes and everybody becomes one. The love starts to flow. We are one body like Christ. We really are. And sometimes I don't even want to end the meditations because I know it's so beautiful. And it's about building that. And then you see through the true eye. You don't see through the eye of, oh, that person's richer, that person's smarter, that person's more thinner, you know, that person, you know, you don't. That doesn't even touch you. You see their heart. And that's where we want to get, isn't it? So
that making you your better self, your best self.
Yeah, making you your better self, that's it. And, you know, I tell you what, we all need improvement, and we all will keep needing improvement because we are an earthly body learning lessons of reaction and feeling. You know,
I was just thinking there, you know, one of the first times that I joined the meditation and I fell asleep. I just woke up and there was a blank screen there and everybody had gone, and I thought, and I remember feeling quite guilty about it, but you said that was good.
Oh no, that's good. Most men fall asleep because men aren't as complex as women.
Okay.
You know, women have the babies, right? If men have a disagreement, they usually fight it out. It's fixed like that. Women go on for years, gossip, angry, blah blah blah. You know, like the girls in the schoolyard. So you know, men used to come to my clients and they'd fall asleep straight away, and then they'd be embarrassed and they woke up. I said, no. I said, we've done great work when you were asleep. They can get out of the ego quicker.
Okay.
So that was a very good thing then.
I'm glad, because I had a bit of a guilt complex about it for a few days.
No. Yeah.
So just to remind you, talking about Jarlath, who's coming on very, very soon. And I know you've talked about meditations. We're going to do a couple of those today as well. But Jarlath works with light codes, doesn't he? Can you tell me?
He works with threads.
With
threads, yes.
Like threads,
yes, the threads.
And consciousness, threads of consciousness, and that sort of thing.
That's right.
Tell me, because I've heard you talk about light codes before. What does that mean?
Light codes they're all around us, Linda. You know, if you want to know what light codes are, look in nature. They're all there. Every flower is one, right? People would really see light codes as the flower of life here. This is the flower of life, which is the whole blueprint of all that we are. You see, we can't see ourselves as flower life. We think this is life. No, this is created matter. This is where we start. We are a sacred tapestry that is woven in to different, how would you say, circles, and then open up into different forms, and then we come into creation. So if we talk about light codes, you can have light codes through music. Most of my work is done through the light codes of music. I use music all the time. Words can be light codes. For example, God, Jesus, there are light codes. Chanting those words opens your awareness up. In that way. Cut down a tree and look at the circle of the tree, another light code. So that's what everything is light code in nature. If you look at a leaf and look at the leaf and the energy of the leaf, and as you look at the pattern, that will open your awareness. So the light codes is ancient wisdom that we can't have access here. So once we look at these symbols, or the flower, or the word, or the music, that is an opening to elevate us, to bring us into higher conscious state so that we can receive the message. And that's what light codes do.
And when you talk about light codes, I'm trying to kind of break down that word to try and understand it properly. Do you mean the light?
No, not the light as we see out here.
No.
A light. What have I just said? Sacred codes.
Sacred codes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they put the word light on it, but it's really sacred codes. Okay. So there's sacred codes that if we look at a spider web and go 9 million times beyond the spider web, our code will be there somewhere. And then the spider web would be the first scene of it, and then into creation. So that's how, we're way beyond time and space. So there are sacred codes. A bit like when we talk about the 9 threads of consciousness. The 9 threads of consciousness is the source of the divine soul. That's what we are, the source of the divine soul. And the 9 threads of consciousness come out of that. And we are woven through these codes into form.
Oh.
So that's
deep, isn't it?
Oh, it is deep. It's deep, but it's fantastic.
I'm not quite sure it's sinking in with me, but it is deep.
It is
but
deep,
I'm sure
isn't it?
I just will trust and go with it. There's a question in for us. There we go. So it's a question about silent spiritual practice, or time spent on one's own in quiet and in meditation. Going back to the meditations that we do on a Tuesday evening. So how important is time spent in silence and nature? Nature, for developing our spiritual connection? Can I say to you, first of all, the place I feel most close to God is in my garden.
Yes, of course.
And my garden, it's nothing to look at, like it's weeds everywhere. It's just a mountain of weeds at the minute with plants in between. But I just love it there, and that is where I can just...
Yes. But you know why you love it there, sister? Because all the sacred codes are around you.
There you go.
No, that's what it is. All those flowers, all that tapestry is making you open, and you're thinking, wow, it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
Because you're in your own garden.
Yeah.
That's that's what it is. And when someone talks about silence, and this girl said questions about silent spiritual practice. Look at the word silent. Lent is in it. Lent. There's a letting go there. There's a sacrifice to stop talking, to stop thinking, and go into something, a deeper pilgrimage there. And when I started my clearing, Spirit always says to me, and I always said to Spirit, I would just love to be quiet. But when I sit in front of people, all I hear is them talking and wanting to know, and I react to what people want to know. That's what I am. Okay. But beautifully at the weekend, because the retreat was so powerful, thank you God for all who attended, that I could start going into silence. So I was doing bouts of 20 minutes of silence on the Friday night, Saturday and whatever. And silence is more powerful because then the essence can flow more powerfully to where it needs. You know what I mean? As I always say to people, don't listen to what I'm saying. It's the space in between the words, the silence. Okay. It's so important. So the nature, that's why I said all the sacredness is out in the garden. That's it. It's all those light codes are there. If you look at something you love, if you look at a fire, a flame, that's a code, sacred code of Lego. The more you look at it, it's all about, it opens this. It opens the true eye. So you start with these eyes. And then as you meditate and go in, this disappears and you start to see with one eye, and you may get a glimpse of it and you go, oh, and then it comes more and more. And then that eye opens up in your being, and then you start to experience, life. That's you experience in the garden. Mm-hmm. You may not have to see it, but something's opening you to experience it. Yeah. And if you keep going, teaching yourself meditation, eventually you'll allow yourself to see it and feel it.
Yeah. It's just a deeper level of peace, really.
It's a deeper level of peace, Linda. You know, that's what it is. It's a deeper level of peace.
Wow.
It's lovely. So if we look at that silent in Lent, what can you give up to get your silence?
Okay.
You know? What can you give up in your life that's taking your silence? That would be the best thing for you, you know, to eliminate either the people or whatever, or the situation.
Probably eliminate your social media, because I just realised I haven't turned my phone off. So that's what
we're really caught with that in that way, aren't we? We are. And when you look at the flower life, you have the 5 elements, you know, fire, earth, water, the platonic solids that make up the flower of life, which then within that flower is you know, the cube of Metatron. Within the Metatron there is the star of the Kabara. It's you know, God just goes on. You know what I mean? God just goes on. So I said, everybody, bypass it all and just go to God. You know? But we like collecting. We're collectors. We like to collect things, and, you know, I've done this and know that. And sometimes that can be, we're collecting instead of actually integrating and being it.
Being in the moment.
Being in the moment.
Yeah. But isn't that one of the, you know, basic truths of the Christian faith, you know, where God gives you what you need when you need it.
Exactly. That's it.
You know, you don't have to kind of strive for it, or, you know, when you need it. It's all about trust.
It's all about trust, isn't it? It's really, really trust. And really trusting in yourself, that deep within you, there's a part of you that knows everything.
Yeah.
And if you are even getting that calling, it means you're getting there.
Right.
If you know, if you start to pull them and say, and you're getting there, that's the key. That's really, really the key. And you don't need, you know, piles of money to get there. You don't need to be psychic to get there. Do you know what I mean? As the silent word says, just eliminate things out of your life that can get you there as quick. You know, but we are creatures of companionship. We love to be with other people, and we love sharing it with other people, and we love communicating and talking with other people, which is the joy of life, you know.
Would you say, you know, and I know when we do the Tuesday night meditation, you know, you talk to us, you lead it, and you guide us through it and everything. But if we're doing that on our own, you know, when this texter, I don't know whether who's sent it, but when he or she says, you know, importance of silence, is music. Can that help?
Yeah, music without words.
Music without words.
I would usually use a lot of music without words, unless Spirit says, I want something to come in when people are in a certain space, and then Spirit says, play that, and then words. But, you know, we're very caught up in the words, because you see when people sing songs, they're singing it about their journey or what happened to them, or thinking backward. Like every song, no matter what it is, I connected with God, and always have. Everything. If it's a disco song, a sad song, a rock song, you know. There was a group called AC/DC.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they used to sing.
My son was a big fan of theirs.
Oh, see, and they used to sing a whole lot of Rosie. And I used to sing that, and all I was thinking was the roses of Our Lady. But see, I connect differently. And my friend says, you're connecting that with God. And I said, yeah, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
You know,
because your whole life is,
yes,
that's your whole life.
That's my whole life. So I would say to people, start making the connections to God in everything, in every single thing. Make them, because the divine substance is everything. It's not in everything, it is it. That's it. So if you celebrate that, then it will celebrate you in its acknowledgement of itself. You know, so brilliant, I think.
Yeah.
You know me, and I just, and that's what I love to do with people, is to push them up and say, you know, come on. It's not that I'm coming in and saying my life is a happy life and all this. No. We're all the same. We have all the issues, all the problems, all the suffering, all the tears. Everybody has the same crosses, but maybe in a different way, but we have them.
Yeah.
But I keep pushing it aside, and I say, no, I'm going to go further. No, I'm going to say this to people. No, I'm going to bring it up. I just really fight it. I'm a battler. Yeah, and that's what you have to be, because we're in a battle. Like we really are.
Yeah.
We are fighting a battle, and it's, you know, the unseen one, the mind one, the emotional one, you know, the earthly one, there's so many battles that we're in. We need to really get that silence, don't we?
Yeah. The very first song that you played there was just as we were joining the room. This is how I fight my battles.
Yeah. That was the very first song. It's lovely, that, isn't it?
I like it. Yeah. So, do you want to do a meditation?
We'll do a wee meditation.
Should we break for a wee bit of music?
Yeah, because Jarlath will come on after it. Because when you start talking, you never stop.
I know we could be here for.
Be a big problem of mine, as you know. But anyway, all right, everybody. So let's just close our eyes for a moment, and we will get a wee song here to just bring us in. This was the one Spirit picked for us this morning.
Okay.
So let's close our eyes.
All right. And we have to stop our recording, of course, as well.
Oh yes, because
tonight. Oh,
there we are back.
Good to know.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right. So there's a question. Will we do that now before we bring in Jarlath?
I will do that now.
All right. So Donna, thank you very much for your question. And don't forget, if you've got a question, pop it in that chat box, and we'll deal with it either for Jarlath or for Roisin after Jarlath.
Or for Lynda.
Or for me, if you really want to. So Donna says, how do we know if we are following our life's true purpose?
Well, first of all, that is from a girl called Donna Crilly. Now, Donna Crilly, you're definitely following your life purpose. Yeah. Well, because you're opening up your whole awareness, Donna. You work on yourself. Donna works on herself. Donna's a member of the Rainbow Meditation.
I've seen Donna's name in the meditation.
Oh, you see, and she's been on the retreats. Donna has a great healing ability that I would say is your life purpose, if that's what you really want to know. Now you know, everybody else knows, now you'll have to do it. So be careful what you asked for, So how do you know, if you're following your life purpose, it'll feel right. It'll make you feel good. Okay. When you're in a job and you're saying, I hate this job, or you're in a relationship and you say, this is not working, or you're in a friendship, when something isn't right. So if you don't follow the life purpose, it's not ready for you yet. Maybe you can't afford to leave a job, or maybe you can't afford to leave the partnership at the minute. There's children. There's reasons why we can't do it. So if you can't do it, but you know what you want to do, then find the peace to be able to cope where you are until that moment comes when it will unfold for you.
But can that life's purpose maybe change as you move on that path? Because you compared it to, say, a relationship, and you just know it feels right, and sometimes a relationship isn't right, actually.
That's right.
It turns out that it's not right.
Yeah.
So how do you trust that it is your true path?
Well, you see, it's a wee bit like, if you really believe that the Creator is guiding you, okay, everything that you have went through has been to get you where you're meant to go.
Right.
So I can't look back and say, oh, I shouldn't have had the father, didn't have, or shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have done that, I should have been a better person. No. I was meant to do all the things I'd done, all the mistakes I made, and whatever. That was to mold me to be of service for who I am now. So whatever we're going through is also, how would you say, the school of life to where you're meant to be going. Some people would come to me and say, what am I meant to do? I don't know if, what am I meant to do? But when you don't know something, that's what I'm saying, you need to find something that can help you get there. Like if you're wanting to be a holistic person, then you would start doing awareness classes and meditation classes. If you wanted to be a painter, you would go to painting classes. You have to do something while this is trying to grow, or the wisdom is coming from it. You know what I mean? So that's the only way I can tell anybody.
And I suppose it's never too late then to find your, you may go through most of your life but not follow it, but then if you finally find your path, and it's never too late. Yeah,
sometimes maybe people think that it's a time thing. Some of the greatest people haven't come to age until they're in their 70s, and somebody, oh my God, I have to wait to 74 to live my life. No. You should be preparing yourself, like when we're preparing to meet the divine every day. I prepare myself for when I'm going. We should be preparing ourselves for the life that we want, and when it comes, then all the pieces are together. People will look back and say, oh, I done this thing in school, and I don't know why I done it, because I didn't need it. I says, you will need it. You will need it. It will come back. So you see, we're trying to get to a destination that isn't possible, because it's a whole pathway of tapestries to be who we're meant to be. You know, I didn't know I was going to be who I was when I was 4, when I was 10. Do you know what I mean? So you have to grow to find yourself, you know, and know that you're growing. You're not making mistakes. But it can happen if somebody sees someone else going on ahead and saying, why is it not happening for me? And I said, yeah, but there must be a different purpose in what you have to do and where you have to do it. And then you have to go and start trying to find sense of that, you know.
And all those experiences that you have along the way then build to
Definitely, they're the net.
What you're going to do.
They're the secret net.
All right.
Now I'm going to see if I can find Jarlath here on the, you know.
We don't have Emmett today working the technical end of things.
Emmett's probably lying out in the sun. There's Jarlath there. So we're going to let Jarlath in here and see.
There we go. So while you're doing that, let me say Jarlath and his wife, Jarlath, are based in Galway. Isn't that right? Galway?
Yes, they're based in Galway.
Yeah. And look, there.
Did you find him there?
Somewhere. Nobody will be in one of those boxes somewhere.
Somewhere,
I'm sure. And we're going to. There we go.
Where is he?
Look.
We'll find you.
You can see all of you.
You can see everybody there. There's Jarlath there up in his lovely pale blue Elmore short there, the pale turquoise. So Jarlath, let's see if we can get you on there. And why are you not? You unmute yourself there, Jarlath. Let me see. There you are, Jarlath.
Excellent.
That's you now. Can you hear us, Jarlath? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, excellent. So there we are. So that's Jarlath now. So I think if I do that, Jarlath might come up stronger. There he is there. That's the best I can get him there.
There we go. Talk to us, Jarlath, and see if we can see you.
There we are.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Jarlath.
Just wanted to say thanks to Roisin for the opportunity today to come on and tell people about the subconscious healing.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, and thank you so much. And also to the Rainbow Lighthouse team, and Lynda, of course, which is a member as well. It's just brought me on so much. So thank you, and let me bring out my light today to everyone. That's what I want to do. So
lovely, Jarlath. We're so happy to have you on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, tell us. We were kind of.
I wear my turquoise today because
the turquoise, yeah.
Because we're in this energy. So let me explain. Subconscious healing. I'm not going to go into that.
What is subconscious healing?
I want to kind of give you a bit of a background. Subconscious healing is, let's say, subconscious is the worker of the mind. Conscious is the controller. What I do with my therapy, I reverse that so that people can go and start to control the mind a bit more. But I also bring in the divine energies of Jesus and the ascended masters and all the white light into my work. And it's very heart-centered. I work with the heart and let the energies and the light codes and the frequencies move out from there. So when someone comes to me, let's say on a one-to-one, we'll work and we'll clear their energy first. But I always put a hologram of them, like the figure of 8, which is the infinity symbol, as you know, to get the flow. And then I can then find, I go and put in that figure of 8, I know where there's infection, I can feel it, I can see the light, I can see the color. And then what I do is I concentrate my heart, my body, my soul on that person for that time. It's very important that, you know, we get to make the connection, and it can have some people, there's a lot of layering and they can't feel it, but a lot of people feel the energy, feel the frequency, and they move together then as one when we're doing the healing.
Jarlath, do you mind if I asked you then what different type of clients would come to you for different ailments, or could you give us some stories?
It's vast. Let me explain. I had a woman there that came to me, and she had an ulcer for a long number of years, and it was a right open wound, and she's been trying to heal it. She's got type 2 diabetes. So we worked together. Both she had a few sessions online, and then she came to me, and over 3 or 4 sessions, through the light, through the subconscious mind, we started to bring in the wound and heal it and put it back together. Now, that happened because that person believed in what I was doing, believed in what the light was coming. We got into our subconscious mind. We worked on our cranial nerves to start the healing process, which has the neurotransmitters on. We also got into the areas where sugar was affecting her, meaning the pancreas, that controls the sugar. Her pancreas was very low in percentage, so we brought that up to 100% so that the cravings for sugar go down. We brought up our spleen that brings reflux and brings circulation issues. We brought that up, and we worked through the organs, the meridians in particular. Let me explain. Meridians are very complex, but the best one to show you would be the heart one, which goes down the arm, and that's why people, when they get a heart attack, it's the arm. So there was issues with her bladder, there was issues with her kidneys in particular, and that affected because she had fear, and she was bringing more fear, and as a result, the ulcer opened wider and wider. When we cleared that fear, it started to heal the process. So we brought the light. Since then, she's fine, she's working out great, and that's her. I'll give you another example of one or two more. I had a man I used to work with 20 years ago, and he came to me. Met him in a shopping centre about 10 weeks ago. We're all masked up, and it was funny. He just said, I said, how are you? He said, well, Jarlath, I can't hear you. I've lost my hearing totally on my left side 10 years ago. I hadn't seen him in 20 years. So it meant to happen. We were meant to meet. He's very, very attuned. So I knew I'd be able to work with them, and work we did. As it turned out, he'd been all over the world to different consultants and the best people in the world, but they couldn't get it back. But for some unknown reason, I felt the energy in my heart, and my heart told me, and the divine told me that I could help. So we worked over a period of 7 to 10 weeks. I went in and got him, put the hologram up, and I started working. I put in front of me, I put a circle, and that was the circle of the year, the workings of the year. I done research on it, and we got the vibration. So I visualized the white golden light of our Lord, the blue light of Archangel Michael. In particular, when I close my eyes, I visualize the green with the purple of Raphael and Zadkiel, the 8 archangels. And we started to visualize that healing, the bone coming back, the hammer coming back, and then it fixing. 2 weeks ago, he came back to me. He'd done a hearing test, and he's 100%.
Wow.
Those are incredible stories, those, you know. And you mentioned, you alluded to earlier, you know, when people believe, do you have to believe for this type of healing to work with you? Because I know you've worked with racehorses, haven't you?
Yeah, I work with racehorses, and you see, it's all about frequency. When people are ready, it comes. And I know what we have to do is take the layering of some people. A lot of people have a layering. I find the layering is usually in the throat. People they're maybe in relationships where they're not able to say out what they mean, and there's layers after layer there, so we have to undo the throat. So I do little connections like this where we're opening up and clearing out the energy, and each time I feel in my hands the color of purple, greens, the reds, it's light then comes. Then when we open up the throat, the white golden light in particular comes straight in, and then all of a sudden there's an emotional clearance.
Please, Jarlath, is that a wee bit like the bioenergy?
Yeah, I work the bioenergy into it, because let's say I work on the heart here. So we have a situation where people have been hurt, they're angry, they've a lot of pain, and it's just simple. I always attune the people. I put a cross. Now, for different people who are spiritual, I do the Star of David. People who are Christian, I put the cross on both their hands. So when they put the cross on both their hands, I get them to do that, and that they can feel the energy. If they don't, it doesn't matter. It's all intent, it's all belief. We just put our hands here on the heart, and we simply just move out or way like this, and just open up the heart. So when you open up the heart, you're letting go, and you get them to visualize all that doesn't serve them. And when it opens up, it's clearing, and the white is open, and the gold and the pink in particular. I work with a thing called Rahani, which brings in the pink, golden light of the grace of God, basically what it is. That's what Rahani's name is the grace of God. So we bring the droplets in, we bring that in and open up the heart for it. So that's part of the healing. Also, we work with anxiety where people are anxious. A lot of that's fear. A lot of that's, the dopamine levels. We go into that. We bring the serotonin, get their happiness up. We go into the complex side of the cranial nerves, which a lot of it is shock. So when people come to me with the shock, anxiety is in it because they've got belief systems from the parents. They've got belief systems from when they were growing up. And what we do is we clear the belief systems. We clear the anxiety states through different methods that I work with.
And Jarlath, how often does someone need to come? Someone need to see you? If you were giving people,
Now, like people with cancer, it takes longer, of course, but 2 or 3 sessions. I'm not going to go on any more than that. They don't need to. And if it is, it's just tweaking 4 or 5 weeks down the line, maybe even 6 weeks. But the first 3 sessions are fairly near. We give maybe 2 weeks because we need them to clear. Because when you do this treatment, there's a lot of detox. People feel, and they say, Jarlath, I'm worse than I came. I have to say that to them because clearing is a noble. It can bring up a lot of toxicity. And you see, we clear toxicity. Like, we'll give you an example. The coronavirus. I shared the image of the threads of the coronavirus. I'll give you an example. I have one here is of the heart. So that's roughly what a thread would look like. And all we need to do is you put your hand over the thread for 2 minutes. Even if you don't feel the energy, that essence of the thread is going to the person. And this one is for the heart. So I always bring the green thread when I start. And I put this before I start the healing myself. And I have that done so that I'm connected. And then I get them, if it's online, they just put their hand over the image, or I can send it to them. And these essences are really, really strong. As you said about the light codes, they all have the light codes, they're sacred codes. They're used in India back hundreds of years ago in India, like an apothecary, like a chemist. People used to go in and get the cotton colors and bring them home, then give them back the following day when they had releases and all that. So that's what that part is.
But Jarlath, you can do all this online, yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Work online, totally.
With the air energy now, as Roisin knows, everything is traveling so fast. So the frequency travels so fast. Like, there's a lot of frequency happening now, even as we speak. My frequency is hitting to everyone that's here there. So there's a healing going on, even if you don't know it. It's already started. So just to let you know. When I work with people, let's say with geopathic stress and EMF, not many people would know about that. And it's a very important thing moving forward. People have to be aware of all the technology we're using, especially in this pandemic side. So there's vibrations coming off, like 5G, 4G coming at us. So they're a vibration like let's say, that's very, very strong, like radiation. And overuse of that can give you brain fog. It can give you problems with memory, all that type of stuff. There's a number of bits of research started on this through the RAF, where they had issues with a lot of their pilots. All the instrumentation used to be underneath the seat, and they found that there was a lot of prostate cancer happening because of this. So when they started putting in clearance, which is a lot of crystals into the underneath the seats, it started to take that geopathic stress and EMF away. So I use crystals and all the products, and I sell those crystals, and I'm working with those. It's a special crystal that can clear that. An organist as well does that as well.
And
Let me go back then. Yeah, go
Jarlath,
ahead.
there was me thinking that brain fog was menopause, but it's maybe
We,
something
wo-
else.
we work on that too. I have
Do
we
you?
work on what's called with the triple warmer, as a lot of women would be the heat and the cold and all that. There's a triple warmer meridian that's very, very strong that helps that. We balance the progesterone, we balance the estrogen, we just bring that down to the right level. We bring the stress hormones, in particular, the serotonin, the melatonin, we bring those into balance that the person with menopause it can be in a cooler, lighter way. And we bring energy to all those areas. We bring the frequency so that, it's all as one then that bit by bit that goes away. So
Yeah.
you see, we're all in evolution. And myself all the time, as Roisin said there, I'm learning new stuff all the time, but I'm getting more energy. I'm getting more frequencies. I was dreaming last night and I was getting all these geometric, really weird codes, a bit very like what we talk behind there, but they're all the sacred codes, they're all the light codes. And that's what I want to bring to people. Open up their heart, bring in those codes that they can live their best life for them, you know.
So
But
would it be fair to say you see life in color? Your
yeah,
life is full of color.
absolutely. Yeah.
And you kept talking about we do this and we do that. Where does your strength come from? What do you mean we?
My strength comes from the divine. It just fills me. We did uh, the meditations with the group there, and it's just brought me on so much. I've gone to a different level of frequency and color in it, and we it is now. That means God. That means Jesus. That means the angels. It means the ascended masters. I'm very affiliated to those as well. But also, the affiliation is with the universe, with the stars, with the connection of that light. The people who don't realize there's a lot of energy of the sun and the stars. If you even go out for 5 minutes at night, that's what I do on a regular basis. People think I'm mad. Sure, that's the way. All I want to try and do is get the energy so that when a client comes into me the next day, I get intuition, which is starting to come more and more with me. I get to feel a person as soon as I talk to them. I know, well, look at you got this. Something comes into my mind and says, look, I have to stop half a minute here. What happened to your father? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with your sister, your brother? And then all of a sudden that opens them up. And we find maybe there could have been issues in the past, issues with land, and anger is there and pain is there. So it's the other part.
It's
Another example would be um, uh, I work with babies to clear vaccine shock for babies, especially when they have the MRIs, at the 3 months and the whole lot. So babies come to me that time and we clear that shock from them because that has further effects, especially with ADHD and all the other issues like that. We work 1 to 5 years is the most important time. And with this subconscious healing, we can work to help to balance that. Now, there's so many more things that I could say and bring on, but I work on back pain. We have a special, uh, we work with sound. I've sent you two sounds, as you know, Roisin. But the vibration of the sounds, we work with the sounds that go back to John the Baptist, the vibration there. I have 20 to 40 sounds that I use and I douse before what suits the person after we have treatment. And they get a copy of of which thread is their priority and they can work on that. But I also give them techniques to use that they can go home with and try. Like to give an example, one would be just a simple one, like just clearing energy from the shoulders. Take responsibility. Or work on your kidneys. You just slap your kidneys to clear the fear. Two little things. Or work from the heart, open the heart to clear anger, to clear pain. Three little things like that. And also protection. Archangel Michael blue, pink. You listen to people and you give them a blessing if it's not something that are affected. And also the purple, the psychic, because I work with souls as well, clearing souls, clearing blocks. So a lot of things going on there.
It's fascinating just hearing you talking about, how you do and what you do. But I'm interested in, have you always been like this, Jarlath? Or when did you
Yeah,
realize that, obviously you've been developing it and you've been in the meditations with Roisin and, you credited Roisin for, encouraging you to work on it. But when did you realize that you had something, a gift, if you like?
yeah. I would say when I was a young lad, I knew there was something different. I'm a twin, an identical twin. As
The twin.
I've even been,
Twin
yeah,
Venus
Gemini.
and Gemini. Oh, dear, dear. There's going to be a lot happening this month for you, Jarlath.
so to be honest, we grew together, and he was different to me, and I just felt I had something. And I remember as a young man dreaming, and all of a sudden there was a big white light in front of me, and I was saying, "What's going on here?" And I often felt in dreams that I was coming out of my body and I was traveling, but I didn't know what it was. So I knew there was something there, and uh, bit by bit, white lights used to appear, green lights, and all of a sudden you're kind of saying, "What's all this with light? What's happening?" And then I was treating a person a few years ago, and we were working on just helping her. She had a bit of depression. I was putting light in, and all of a sudden, I looked out the window. And there was 7 rays, all on a straight up, not like a rainbow, but on a vertical,
Vertical.
40 foot long, and it was all the rays of light. And all of a sudden, the green light came into us, and then it was such a that was the day I knew that this is my life purpose, and that's the way it's been going. And I just see there's someone about side effects. Yeah, we can clear side effects. It's a substance intolerance, is what it's called. I do side effects and all the vaccine shocks, the vaccine for the coronavirus. So I have a lot of my clients that come back to me and they'll text me, "Oh, I'm going for the vaccine today. Can you do a substance intolerance for me?" And I send you a substance intolerance, and they've no side effects. They have a little bit of sore arm, but nothing else. And
Brilliant.
that's worked. And the other people that I've sent that image to them. Anyone that's my mother, she's 82, and all her neighbors around they were coming flying down with the coronavirus, but she was the only one that wasn't. She was going on that image, that thread that protects you against the coronavirus, and it worked totally for her. And also little things like tapping here to bring up your immune. That's a simple thing you can do on a daily basis. It brings up your immune, it brings the white blood cells, attacks the organs, and brings up your energy. Other things we work on colic for babies as well, reflux, IBS. So it's wide. I never don't work on a challenge. I always go for it. If I feel I can help it, I'll try and work for the person, because it's all about love. It's all about bringing them back to nature, bringing them back into themselves. A lot of them lose their way, and it's trying to get them back in.
Jarlath,
Um,
Jarlath, tell me about the painting behind you. It's quite striking.
yeah, yeah. This painting. This is a painting of a girl of 14. Um, she hadn't got out of her room for over 6 months, and her mother came to me. She had anxiety, and her granny had anxiety. So it's what I call a gene fault, because we work on gene faults as well. We'll talk about that in a sec. But she had anxiety to such a stage she couldn't go to school. She was stuck in her room, and her mother said, "Look, I might as well try this." But for some unknown reason, that girl had such a huge connection with the Lord, with the white light, but she didn't know how to. She felt different. She felt frightened. She was getting dreams she was having, and all of them said, "What's happened here? That happened to you last week. You had a dream about this." And then she opened up her eyes and she said, "You understand me?" And then we were able to make a connection. So building up confidence. We have a lot of affirmation tapes that work with the organs. So in that they're talking about confidence and I'm happy. And
Yeah.
so we started. I gave her that tape for weeks, and she started working. And I said, "The way of payment, you make a painting of what you see when you close your eyes," and that's what she saw.
Wow.
Right.
That's beautiful. It's like a reprogramming.
It's really
Yeah, and that girl now has started in university. She's doing an arts degree, and she's out in musicals and everything. And it's such a. I meet her an odd time. I said, you have to sign that, Jet. I said,
That's good.
It might be
That's
worth a
lovely.
few quid. That,
Well,
that's the type of stories, that's the type
yeah.
of stuff I like to tell. I had a child there, the mother rang me at Christmas. Oh, no, that was one Christmas. I had one only a few weeks ago where they hadn't slept for a long time, erratic sleep, because their daughter had major colic. I had her online, and I saw her for once, and then I was able to visualize the girl. So we started working with her. And what it was there was, when she was in the womb, because we go into the shock in the womb, there was a shock. Her grandmother passed while her mother was pregnant. And it shocked the baby that she had, when she was born, she had this real shock. So we went in, cleared the shock. I had to check which month it was, clear the shock there, and got the energy into that. And now she's fine. She's working. So that's the type of stuff we do, you know.
Jarlath,
But
how do we get the hold of you now? How have you got a website, or how do people find
yeah,
more
I have
about
a
you?
website. I've been working on it, and I'm trying working even the last few days. And yeah, it's Violet Flame Holistics .ie. You'll get it there.
Violet
Um,
Flame.
Violet Flame, yeah. I work with the Violet Flame. You see, Saint Germain is another big one for me. Color again, of course. And I work with Saint Germain on a regular basis. I only had cleaning one last night with the beard, the good-looking lad, and you know, the Count, as they call him in Hungary. People might know. Look him up. He's been in many past lives, like all of us have. Through Rahani, I've been 52 times now. So you know, I'm a teacher of that as well. So you know that's what it's about. But yeah, I go off of kilter sometimes. So maybe I forgot the question you asked me. I'm sorry.
No, but that's your gift. That happens regular, Jarlath. When you're intuitive, you have many conversations going in, and one conversation takes you to 50. And that's like
Yeah.
that's the consciousness of that. You're in that consciousness, flowing, moving, changing, and I wouldn't apologize for that. That's the gift.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's good. But yeah, definitely more and more. I want more and more people coming, because I know I can help. I feel that it's we need to get the white light back to people.
Have you
We
any
need to clear the
upcoming
clutter.
workshops, Jarlath? Have you any
Yeah,
upcoming workshops people could join?
with this coronavirus, everything is all over the place at the moment. We have a plan to go out to Galway, Mayo, and maybe the Connacht, and then maybe expand it if we get the numbers. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing workshops anywhere where there's possibilities. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's very
Yeah,
good,
do let
because
us
you
know.
can, when you come back on again to talk more, and you can let us know if there's anything coming up in the in the
Yeah,
near future
yeah,
that can be
yeah,
involved.
because yeah, I'm looking like, as I might have told you, I work on the cell regeneration through the subconscious and through the energy codes now. Like we have 171 cell systems in the body. I go through each one, prioritize the top 10, and then we have an image of that under a microscope, send that to the person, and they can get the essence of that as well. So it's another type of thing we're doing. So I'm adding all the time, but I only take bits and pieces from what I feel is good.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Because
right.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
yeah,
to be able to
Virtual
there's a
tell.
lot out there.
magician.
Yeah.
So, and I work with I feel I have a bit of alchemy in me, so I work with water as well. And it's funny, you know what? I have cream started. I've cream for psoriasis and for back pain, and I've worked with a woman that goes and forages in Galway, and we're starting this new range, and new sprays from the holy water of the well that I go to in Athenry. I have to say about it, it's the holy well in Athenry. It's the first marine shrine of Ireland, I always believe,
Very powerful.
1249, and the sacredness of that water, it's just unbelievable. It's such healing properties. So if you're ever down in Athenry, you have to go to the holy well, you know.
Yeah, I've been to it
It's
many
a
times. It's
beautiful part of the world, Galway, isn't it? It's been lovely talking to you today. Thank you so much. And we really admire your turquoise. That was a good colour to wear.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was a bit great. I was a bit great, but I said, look, it might as well
It's good to be. It's good to be brave, Jarlath. But Jarlath, that there's so much you could talk about. I know that myself and your whole lesson. So you'll have to come back on again, and and we can get more questions and talk about it. But really, if anybody's listening there, that's amazing. Jarlath is really. I would, as I said, he's a spiritual magician. That's what you are, Jarlath, bringing all the gifts together. And back
Here
in.
we are.
Lovely.
Well, that would set us up for the week now.
Yeah.
Here, I think I mentioned to you actually. I wonder if anybody with us today saw it. But that amazing moon that we had earlier in the week, wasn't it incredible?
Wait to tell you.
And I saw, and I know other people saw it too because I saw it on Twitter. I saw a comet. Or, well, a shooting star, a comet, I don't know.
Wow.
It was just flying through the sky. Did anybody else see that? Maybe you could reply in the chat box if you did. But I've never seen anything quite like that before. It was just incredible. But I know people in Scotland saw it and people up in Derry saw it. These were all coming through on Twitter.
Yeah, it was an amazing moon. It was the Sagittarius, the lunar eclipse. It's eclipse season started. And I think it's only 2 lunar eclipses in this year, and Sagittarius and is ruled with Jupiter, and that's all about our belief systems and religions.
Right.
Yeah, big time. So with the golden Aquarius, the light is really penetrating these star signs and these planets now to really make things happen. As our Lord said, the signs will be in the moon and the stars and the sky, and you got a sign there.
Well, that was a sign.
And burning away more of our earthly ego that is in the way of our spiritual life. Wow. Isn't that what it is? So we're in powerful times. There's no doubt about it, and we all know that. But I still think there's something else coming in the coming months. I think there's something else coming that is going to create even a bigger change, and I'm not sure what it is yet, but I have a feeling there's something else coming here for humanity that is going to change how we really live our lives. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but there's another quite change.
You mean something
coming.
Quite as big as like coronavirus has made us all change our lives? Something.
Yeah, but in a different way, how we live our life. With all the rules and regulations, where people feel they're being forced to live differently. I would say, you're not being forced to live differently. On one level, you're being asked to live differently, to find more of your true self. Like, as I say, humanity really has matured. It really has. We have matured. We have grew up. And in that, then we can take our own power more. More people are going to become more vocal. More people are become, they're not going to stand for things anymore. More people are expressing themselves more. That's what's happening. Humanity is saying no more. So it's a maturity, and I feel it's very good. That's what I feel. That's what I'm picking up of everybody. Everybody is maturing in a way where, when we're children, we're jumping about, looking distractions, looking excited. We're not needing these distractions anymore, because we really know we have to mature. And there in itself, who is America? You know what I mean?
Interesting. We'll have to look out for that one. Now, there's one thing that I wanted to ask you, Roisin. You talk regularly. You talk about the divine, and spirituality. What's the difference between spirit and the divine, spirituality?
Well, spirit comes down to be in the physical form, into creation. So when people are starting to get awakened, they start to go in the direction of spirituality. Starting to make themselves more aware, tuning into different things, meditating and things like that. But spirituality then has to evolve to divinity. It has to become divine, where it's not about I'm doing all these things to be who I am. You just then elevate and you become divine and you unify yourself. So everything brings you straight to the divine. As I say, we don't need so many things. We just need to go. Now, that's because in my life, I got there very much quicker because of different situations. I don't know why that had to happen, but I got there much quicker. So it's more like a divine journey. Everything that I do, all I hear is the divine coming in at all time. I almost don't have a choice. The spiritual journey is the pathway or the stairway or the ladder to the divine. So you must eventually then rise up by that and say, I'm more doing divine work. I'm more working through the divine, for the divine, really give the glory to the right energy. And then you elevate quicker. So that's the difference. It's not good or bad. It's the pathway. The spirituality is the pathway to the divinity, to the divine. But just, we have to be careful we don't just stay in the spiritual pathway. We're meant to evolve.
There's a journey there. There is a destination.
Yes.
So we can't just stay in that.
No, you just can't stay in that, you know.
And what's the key to moving on and moving on?
Well, keep looking at the self. You know, sometimes we can collect too much. And we're not integrating it enough, and we need to really go more in. Our mind would tell us that we need to do a lot of things. We need to know a lot of things. To me, the less you know is the better. Well, in my case, the less I know is better for me. Sometimes if we're over learning or we're over thinking, we really lose it. We lose it. Because God is an experience, the divine is an experience. We end up trying to read about it, we end up trying to think about it, we end up thinking, well, somebody does that, I must do that, but that's not what it is. It can take us away from it sometimes, the spiritual path, a little bit, if that makes any sense, Linda, you know, in that way. And sometimes when I'm talking, you know, I don't know if people can understand what I'm saying, but I think most of the people do get the gist of it, especially people that would meditate and really go out into the space that understand. Because sometimes people think they're not doing things right if they're not doing nothing. But sometimes doing nothing is the right thing.
Yeah. And it's hard sometimes.
Like you out in your garden is the right thing.
It's hard to sometimes sit with something, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Because you want to action things all the time.
That's right.
It's hard just to kind of be still. What the song that you played earlier, be still.
Be still.
And know, you know,
Be still. We're used to, if you're in school, the teacher saying, give me an answer. Tell me what you're thinking, your parents, whatever. But that's not how the divine is. We're meant to just sit and allow the energy to move through us and do what it has to do. So, you know, we can get a pain and we have to go to the doctors, or we get an illness. Yeah, fair enough. But sometimes when things don't go away, you know, pain is a messenger. We're meant to sit with it and say what we're doing. So each week if something comes up in me, somebody could say, oh my God, you have something every week. I say, yeah, but that's my job. Job. I know what it is, and then I have to find what's causing it, and I have to go in and look at it.
When we say that, you know, when sometimes people ask, you know, how do you let God use you? Like, you don't have to have a particular gift or whatever. You just got to show up.
You just got to show up, Linda.
Turn up.
Turn up into your life.
Yeah.
Be the smile. Be the ear. Be the voice. Be the hand. You know, be the stillness, whatever it is the situation, or, you know, the person needs, or you know, the emotion needs sometimes. You know, it's but we are creatures of, we are afraid of our own loneliness, and all of us hold deep loneliness, and the loneliness is the separation of our divine self.
Okay.
We think we're lonely if we maybe don't have a partner. We think we're lonely if you know, we haven't friends, but it's not. We have to go beyond that. Loneliness is the separation with our own divinity. That's what loneliness is. And you see, when you start to fill that up, you start to realise on your own, you're great.
You're all right.
You're all right.
You're doing fine.
You know what I mean? Your dog, you're happier with your dog than you are with people. You know, and some people are saying, yeah, you're right, or the cat. And more people are going that way. More people are finding that, and that's that maturity I'm talking about. When you mature, you can think, oh, I can be on my own, nothing bad's going to happen. I may not like the feeling, but let's go into it, and, you know, and let's go through it.
We're really on our own, are we?
Never.
You know.
Never. You know, it's only sometimes you're in the car and you get lost. I say, you know, you can never get lost. You know, if you have somebody else in the car, no matter where you're driving, you're still with them.
You're still not lost.
You know, even if we have the sat nav and Bill doesn't want to use it, you know, men don't like to use the sat nav. Oh my God, and they don't want to stop and ask anybody. I'm thinking, ask that person. You know, no, you know, I know. Then you're on your own.
Well, listen, are we back to our meditations on this week? Have we meditations every?
Yes, our meditations start on
June meditations
on Tuesday, I think, for 4 weeks, because then we're having July. We're off and we're taking a holiday off, so we won't be back on to August. So if anybody's thinking of getting into the meditations, this will be the cycle before, you know, the holiday time. And then I'm going to have a day event, small event for the Divine Mercy.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Well, the Divine Mercy, it's a beautiful thing. It would be really more owned, within the Catholic religion. I hate religion and bodies owning things, because God says to me, what? What do you mean? This is for my children. So the Divine Mercy was a beautiful chaplet given by Saint Faustina. Really, really lovely. And she suffered, this Polish nun. And our Lord appeared to her as the Divine Mercy, and it's the magenta and the pale turquoise coming out of his heart. And it's a beautiful chaplet, but I'm going to do an event where it'll be sung. It's a singing chaplet, because my key is, if you put music to anything, it's fantastic. If you put music to prayer, you will pray better. I'm in the car all day with my music, all my prayers are in music, and I'm singing them all the time, and it becomes a song. Or sometimes if you're just trying to say a prayer, your mind takes you away.
Yeah.
But when you sing, your mind doesn't take you away, your mind takes you into it.
Right.
The singing's different. And I was doing it at the weekend. We had to do the Divine Mercy every day for the retreat, for the Bridget retreat. That's what I was asked to do. So I said, yeah. And I played it, and two of the girls were saying, oh, wow, that singing is so beautiful. It makes you really do it. I said, yeah, because you see, the singing, the heart takes you. When you're trying to pray sometimes and you're talking, the mind says, I don't have time for this. Hurry up. Is it at the end? Where when you sing, you drop down into your heart, so then it goes in. So there's this lovely chaplet that Spirit had got me to download and said, would I do an event at 3 o'clock one day for the Divine Mercy, which would only last, Divine Mercy chaplet would usually last for about 21 minutes, and it's singing it, that type of way. So that's the next thing that's coming up.
Great.
In my mind,
we don't have a date for that.
We don't have a date for that, because, when Spirit comes in and says, right, I want you to do this, like this, they just said that, and then people say to me, why didn't you advertise it quicker? I says, they only told me yesterday. I says, I want it tomorrow. Because, Spirit isn't thinking it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's no time involved. There's no age involved. Somebody says to me, it's too old for me to do that now. And I'm thinking, too old? Your spirit is eternal, timeless. That's your earthly body. Spirit could pick you at 70 and say you're going to be the greatest healer ever. So this is why sometimes when people are waiting for things to happen, they're waiting on an earthly level. Don't wait on that level, because there is no age limit to when things happen, or, the divine doesn't work by a day of the week or a clock.
Yeah.
It wakes me up at 3 o'clock and says you're going to do this, you're going to do that. That's really allowing the harmony of the universe to work through you, because the harmony doesn't have a clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have a clock. They'd be laughing at us. It's a wee bit like, the way we eat at 1 o'clock or we eat at 6 o'clock. It's very hard for me to eat at those times. And when I used to meet, me and Bill used to go out, he used to say to me, we always go at the wrong times when nothing is open. And I said, no, we don't. I said, they have a clock where my body doesn't fit into, because the body was so free. It was saying, I want to eat now.
Right.
And I think when we let go of the rules and the timing, we really become more our harmony, But you see, we're afraid to let go in case someone says, oh, you're not doing that, or you're not doing that, and that. We're afraid to be ourselves.
We're afraid to break out of the norm.
We're afraid to break out of the norm, and we're afraid of, insulting people or, annoying people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we have to get by. If you don't want to eat, you don't eat. And some nights I get up, well, most nights, I'll be eating at 2 o'clock. I will have, yeah. And I just, so I really, as I'm saying, bad for your digestion. No, because my body is doing that, in different
so
medicines.
Must be, you talked about living by the clock there, and there's something to be said for that, where, at 1 o'clock we stop for lunch, or at 6 o'clock we stop for dinner, or whatever. But actually, when we listen to our bodies, we might not be hungry at 1 o'clock.
Exactly.
So you must be very obviously, very in
only I eat too much. That's the only one. Yeah, but
no, I think you've just given me a real encouragement to know that when you wake up in the morning, it's never too early to eat ice cream for breakfast. So
it's not. And you see, this is where we have to open our mind and allow ourselves new ways without these structures that have been implanted. You do this at this time. You wear this and this makes you look a certain way. You act this and this makes you feminine. You act this and this makes you masculine. These are all things, labels that have been put upon us, that has really crucified the human trying to live by them. Like, it's madness. And we have been taken by them, and then we think they're real, where I'm telling you, that is the lie, and the truth looks like the lie underneath. People say, do you understand?
Yeah.
So, but I think we're doing very well. We're coming back. We're making a lot of headway with the light, spiritually, divinely. As heart people, a lot of people are becoming more heart-centered. We're giving more of ourselves without wanting to receive. We're starting to become more giving, in that way. So I feel humanity is really winning, where maybe the news and the social thing will be saying we're not. But to me, I feel we are really winning spiritually. Definitely. Definitely we are winning.
I mean, I think the Rainbow Lighthouse family are probably leading the way on that, aren't you?
Oh, they're leading the way, aren't they? Yeah.
We're all we've all come on this journey, and there's so much more of it to happen.
There's so much more of it to happen, Linda. And as we walk through this doorway now into the Gemini energy of the twins, you don't have to know about astrology. Like, come on, who knows about astrology? It's serious, hard to understand. But get the understanding away from it and say, right, the Gemini means twin. So this month, I'm going to be working with the duality of myself, the twin voices, the twin feelings. Why am I reacting when someone's saying something? How am I talking to myself? How am I thinking about myself? How can I change small things in the relationship to myself? How I love myself, how I see myself in the mirror, how I treat myself. And really deepen the relationship in a more loving way with the self, more tender, more gentle. Give yourself a break. Say, this is a month I'm really going to think about myself differently, not what I was told to think. That's a good one to go out on. That gives us something to take forward for this month. It does, it really does.
And we don't have a date yet for next month's chat room, do we?
Not yet, but next month's chat room we'll be having my lovely friend and colleague that I've known for a lifetime, but in this world 10, 15 years, is Karen from Switzerland. She'll be joining us,
yes.
And it's her birthday today, so happy birthday,
Karen.
sister there in Switzerland. And Karen will be coming on, and Karen works with so many things. She's been in the field for a very long time, total light worker, and working with many energies, and she works with family constellations. She also works with the energies of colour as well, and a lot of different things, but I'll let her talk that. So if people want to ask some questions with the wisdom that Karen has for all the years that she'd done, she's really my stag. I call her my stag. That's how I met her. That I see there was a wound in her heart for many years as a stag, and that's the first thing I actually said to her when I met her, and she got it straight away.
She knew.
So that's when you really meet a soul that knows you.
Right.
So that'll be Karen.
Well, we look forward to that. Now, keep an eye on the website. Of course, I'm just raising it. It's about 1 o'clock now. I think we're probably
we're
out of time.
We're ready to go, and I hope it's sunny wherever you are. I hope the sun is shining. If it's not shining outside of you, may it shine inside.
That's good.
Isn't that a good one, Linda?
Yeah. And keep an eye on the website, rainbowlighthouse.net.
Thank you, Elaine.
And thank you, Elaine. Thank you. And there's Linda as well. Thank you so much. Lovely way to spend a Sunday morning. Great.
Lovely.
Well, I hope you're going to spend the rest of it out in that beautiful sunshine. I'm off to my garden now.
So am I.
So take care of yourselves.
Have a lovely day, everybody. And thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Oisin.
All right, everybody. Thanks, Jarlath. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good one. Okay, lovely. So let me see now. Turning everything.